Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the moon in conjunct Mars in a natal chart. Now, first off, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They were a little bit concise, and some people may refer to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up as well, if you have the moon in conjunct Mars in a natal chart, there may be an adjustment, which is the inconjunct aspect may be needed between what you need, which is the moon, and your actions, which is Mars. And the thing about it is, if you have your Mars in Sagittarius as an example, those actions may be connected, with benevolence and goodwill. It could be religious activities or something. It could even be actions that just simply have a lot of enthusiasm and exuberance behind them. But it could also be, matters with actions connected with foreign travel or higher education, expanding horizons. The thing about, this too is, you may vacillate, between the emotional needs, which is the moon, and what, simply drives and motivates you, which is Mars. I mean, let's say if you have, the zodiac signs Cancer and Aquarius involved, you have obviously a very strong disparity between the Cancerian energy, which is more introversion and home-related activities, and the Aquarius energy, which is more about integrating in society, humanitarian efforts, groups, friendships, clubs, organizations, things of that nature. And the thing too is, if you have the moon in conjunct Mars in your natal chart, another way it may manifest could be that you may either be extremely emotional, emotionally vested, in the things that require the energy and physical strength, which is Mars, or may have none whatsoever. You may just go from one extreme to the other. If Mars is in Scorpio, say, those things that require the energy and physical strength may be tied in. It could simply be working with trash or refuge, or doing something with recycling or transformation in general. It may be, even the physical body, in some transformation of the physical body in some cases. And the thing about this as well, if you have this aspect, it's also really having, I mean, Mars is about our enthusiasm. So you may either have tremendous enthusiasm for the emotional needs, which is the moon, or you may just be completely like apathetic and not have any, literally could be no enthusiasm behind the actions. They may be or behind attaining emotional needs or activities associated with them. Now, another thing about the moon in conjunct Mars in the natal chart and how it may manifest, it could be where you might have you may strongly express those emotions and feelings, which is the moon, to the sexual partners, which is Mars, one moment. Then other times, you may not express, any. If the moon is in Gemini, as an example, that could be very manifold, very, variety of emotions and feelings. It could be ones that are very quick changing, as the moon in Gemini can be versatile on an emotional level. Moon in Aquarius, can be detached, but can have, it express, feelings, and just expressing selflessness, as as an example for the moon in Aquarius. And the thing about, and then moon in Scorpio can be very deep. Emotions can be ones that are very powerful and intense, yet could be convoluted at times. Now, another thing about this aspect, the moon in conjunct Mars in a natal chart, is that, well, you could either, it can be where, you may intensely, nurture and care, which is the moon, for those same people, the sexual partners, then, there may be times when you're just flat out oblivious to them and apathetic, regarding them. Now, if the moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer, as an example, that, those feelings, can be, very strong ones that are about caring and feeling, you know, um, expressing a lot of dedication, devotion. Um, it can be where, if you have, this aspect, in a natal chart, another way that it may be expressed is that, you may strongly feel, like, which is the moon, like doing things you have that enthusiasm, which is Mars for, one moment. And then, the next, you might not have, it might be no enthusiasm. It might be doing things in a very, perfunctory or, kind of stolid manner with no, emotion behind it. Now, if you have your Mars and Taurus as an example, those things you have a strong enthusiasm for, can include, banking, finance, doing work as a stockbroker, or something with geology, agriculture, gardening, cultivation, architecture. It could be doing, something with carpet laying even, or just something, with the arts. It could be music, or just, art, artistic endeavors, so which can cover a number of things such as drawing, painting, or sculpting as some examples. Now, another thing, and, another way that the moon in conjunct Mars, can manifest and pan out in a natal chart is that there may be an imbalance, between the activities, with the mother and family, which is the moon, and, sexual partners and even leaders, which can include, people that are bosses or superiors or authority figures. And then you may have one or the other may be overemphasized. You may either be dominated, by mother, by activities, the family, including the mother, and then not give enough attention to the sexual partners or, the leaders, which is, could be, again, the supervisors or superiors, your bosses, what have you. If you have, say if the moon is in Leo, the family, mother and other family members, one or more, may actually have a Leo sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply embody the characteristics of the sign. It could be people that are very dignified, prideful, courageous, magnanimous, generous, extroverted, gregarious, people that are creative as well, but yet could be flamboyant and attention-seeking at the same time. And the thing, might be, if you have, this aspect in the natal chart, it could also be where, there may be times when you really strongly feel, which is the moon, you know, you might like doing things that require leadership prowess and ability, which is Mars, and other times you may be apathetic regarding those things. If, let's say, if Mars is in Pisces, it could be some leadership, in helping, in terms of, leading, so to speak, the less fortunate to where they need to go, in their life, people that are, maybe that are confused about where they are. It could be doing something, Pisces related, maybe it's something with boating or fishing, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, or it could be some, work connected with poetry or dancing or photography, as some other examples. And the thing about this aspect too, I would also say another way that it may be expressed in the natal chart is that, there might be, some strong, feelings of anger that could be very strong one time, and then the next minute, it's just completely gone, because you could have, the strong distortion and vacillation of energy when you have an inconjunct aspect in a natal chart. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.